So much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. My name is Erin Carpenter, and I'm here with Michael Singer, both from Hidden Peak Interactive. We put together a lot of exciting information to share, and we're going to take the next half hour to make sure and make it valuable for you. So let's go ahead and jump on in. The topic today is inbound marketing, 7 earth-shaking reasons why marketers need to change their mindsets. Again, my name is Erin Carpenter. I'm the CEO of Hidden Peak Interactive. Nearly 5 years experience in online marketing, an MBA, and a background in finance and operations.
And hello, everybody. I'm Michael Singer. I'm the COO of Hidden Peak Interactive. I have an MBA as well and almost 15 years experience in online and digital marketing. And I have also a background on both the agency side as well as the client side.
I'd like to first address this idea of inbound marketing. What is inbound marketing? Well, first and foremost, inbound marketing is methodology that we practice at Hidden Peak Interactive. It's not just another tactic such as SEO or social media or PPC, but it's a holistic approach that considers how we move prospective buyers from unaware consumers to delighted customers. And this may start with social media, organic search, PPC. Those are all tools that we use to attract people to the buying process, eventually convert them to qualified leads, close them as sales, and then turn them into delighted customers that are going to come back for more. So not only is inbound marketing the methodology we practice, but we're also HubSpot certified agency partners. With that, I'll hand it off to Michael.
And let's talk about the old days of marketing. Here's Don Draper from a very popular show called Mad Men reminiscing about those good old days, where back then advertising marketing was tried and true ad-based marketing methods of interruption. Interruption messages that hope to resonate with the greatest impact. Another way of looking at it is hammer with the message loud enough and long enough to the most people will ensure sales success. Now the digital age is upon us. We must jump into social media. So we tell our prospect to like us on Facebook. And then what? We are back to hammering them to buy something they may not need or not ready to buy. Is that working for you? Probably not. So technological improvements such as cloud-based services have allowed us, marketers, to be more efficient, data-driven, and have greater insight into the buyer's journey. So where do we begin? Well, this is where we start. Why we need to change our mindset.
So number 1, let's talk about the first way that we need to change our mindset. It's important to keep in mind that your website is more than an electronic brochure to compel visitors to contact you. You need to start thinking about your website as a lead and sales generation machine. What I mean by that is once you attract, I like to use this graphic of the proverbial sales funnel to demonstrate how we move our prospects through the buying process, okay? If you look at the funnel and you think about it, it's wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. So if 10,000 people arrive on your website, they're still at the top of the funnel. The chances of all 10,000 becoming customers is very slim. So as they move through that buying process, more and more trickle out of the funnel, and that's why it's narrower at the bottom. Our goal as marketers and salespeople is to move as many of those 10,000 through the buying funnel as possible so that we can grow our sales as much as possible. So if we break these down into 3 buckets, if we break the funnel down into 3 buckets, the top, middle, and bottom of the funnel, we can start to think about the type of information we deliver our prospects to help move them through this buying process. And here's a snapshot of our homepage. And what I've done is I've identified the calls to action on our webpage with labels, just for the purpose of this presentation, that designate whether the call to action is geared towards someone at the top, middle, or bottom of the funnel offer. Because chances are people are going to arrive on the home page, internal pages, and more at different stages of the buying process. So regardless of where they are, we need to give them something to latch onto. Let's just say they're at the top of the funnel. and they click on the offer lead generations from 4,000 businesses. And let's see how that works. And it's going to put them into a lead flow sequence that Michael will explain.
So the website lead flow. So the user comes on and selects lead generation lessons for 4,000 businesses, because that's the information and research you're looking for at their particular time. Because we've given them the right type of research, they're more apt to give us their information about themselves, and they fill out the form. And thus then begins our marketing automation. First, an auto email is sent out thanking them for taking time in filling out the form and receiving the ebook. And then more importantly, they are assigned to a smart list. Smart list can be done based on title, size, company, and even industry, which kicks off a particular workflow. What is a workflow? A workflow is based on the smart list, a workflow of timed emails and future offers at different points and periods of time.
So now that we've established there's specific flow that we need to move our buyers through and give them different content at different times, and use your website as a lead generation machine, because that's how you turn it into a lead generation machine. Keep in mind that number two, like in number two, you normally wouldn't ask someone to marry you on the first date. So why is the only call to action on your website something that is requesting them to engage further, such as to buy now, sign up for a newsletter, talk to a sales rep? It's a little bit too intimidating for many people, because most websites visitors are still in the research phase, and they're not ready to talk to anyone. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual buying process and break it down to make sure that we work them through properly. We can break this down into 4 stages. Stage 1, perform research. Stage 2, establish buying criteria. Stage 3, compare vendors. And then stage 4, make a purchase. I'm going to explain these, and then I'm going to run through a live example for you. So stage 1, perform research. At this point, again, they're just in the research phase. They're looking to solve a problem or answer a question. At this point, the recommended content for this kind of person would be something that's more educational in nature: a checklist, tip sheets, white papers, ebooks. Once they've moved from that point to the next stage, they're starting to establish buying criteria. The prospect state of mind. In the prospect state of mind, he or she understands the problem, knows she needs something to fix it, and now just needs to determine what kind of product or service will solve that problem. At this point, it's time to deliver something that's a little more product or service oriented, and they're ready for a deeper level of information, such as in a case study or a catalog or a spec sheet. The next stage is compare vendors. At this point, the prospect knows that he or she has a problem, what solution is needed, and ready to select someone to buy it from. Is it going to be you, or is it going to be the competitor? And finally, so at this point, it's time for either sales to jump in, depending on the product or service or industry, to deliver a free trial, offer a consultation. This is where the prospect is ready to talk to someone. And then finally, the prospect knows he has a problem, knows what he or she needs, is ready to buy, whether it's you or your competitors, and now it's time to make that purchase. And this provides an overview of where marketing and sales work together. So let's look at an example. Let's just say that I'm looking to buy a washer and a dryer. So where do I go, like most people, when I have some questions? I hear some friends who have raved about Whirlpool or LG washers, so I go to Google, and I type in Whirlpool versus LG front-load washers. And lo and behold, there's an article about Whirlpool versus LG front-load washers. So I click that article, and I jump to a blog on a company called Yale Appliances webpage. This is on a blog post, and I read this blog post. And at the end of the blog post, there's a washer buying guide. Fantastic. Hopefully this will have the information I need to figure out what I need to buy. I download that blog, and then I all of a sudden have more questions. How many cubic feet do I need in a washer? Do I really need a steam dryer? How many cycles are necessary? What technology lasts longest? This is the time when I'm trying to figure out what kind of washer dryer I need. So the buying guide includes specs. Perfect. while I'm reading this guide, I have some emails that flow in that from the CEO of Yale Appliance. Very timely, and they're telling me, answering the questions that I already have. Is a steam dryer worth it? Are steam washing machines worth it? Perfect. How timely. So I do some more research, establish my buying criteria. I decide upon LG's washer because I've received a lot of great information about that. Now I just need to decide who am I going to buy from. Am I going to buy from Yale, Home Depot, Pacific Sales, or someone else? Finally, once I decide who I'm going to buy from, all of a sudden I receive an email from the CEO of Yale Appliance that says, hey, view washer rebates. Once again, a very timely message that's compelling for me at the time when I'm just about ready to buy. I click the rebate. It takes me to a web page on Yale Appliance's website, gives me the opportunity to add to cart. Whether I buy this washing machine online or in the store, I am armed with an arsenal of information about washers and dryers. I'm ready to purchase. Think about what that does for the closing time if I walk into the store and talk to a sales rep. It dramatically decreases it. So again, an overview of the buying process. If we use the right content to move the vendor and move our prospect through, we're going to hit them at the right time, and we're going to move more people through the buying process and generate more revenue. So with that, I'll hand it off to Michael.
Thanks, Erin, and what a great overview of the buying process. I'm sure everyone listening today understands how that works, but what a great example of how you can use your website and emails to move the prospect through the buying process. So along the lines of email, one of our points is today, number 3, batch and blast emails for the past. Now, we're not saying not to stop doing email, but we're saying email is only relevant when you have sent to a targeted message, sent at the right time, and it's sent to the right prospect. When emails are not relevant is with our general email blasts, where we send out our monthly newsletters, or we have a promotion or a campaign, and then we pull all the emails from our customer database, which is the one message to all. And how do we measure that success? By telling our bosses, by reporting on email opens and click-through rates. Yet we've done a poor job or done no job of moving the prospect through the sales journey. So how do we craft different offers to different segments without pulling your hair out? It seems overwhelming, but not anymore. So I don't need to tell you on segmentation. I think you probably understand it, but let me talk to you about dynamic segmentation. This is where your website is doing the work for you, segmenting prospects dynamically and in real time. So a visitor comes to your site, they take an action and do something, and they give you certain information. Well, that information criteria is assigned, and they're automatically segmented into a smart list. A smart list could be based on title, could be based on size of company, could be based on when they want to make a purchase decision. And with these smart lists, marketing can now email and set offer targeted messages with the right offers at the appropriate time. Success is now measured by how well emails move prospects through the buyer's journey. So we have dynamic segmentation and marketing automation resulting in more leads and customers. So you have multiple offers based on where the prospect is in the sales funnel and based on segmentation criteria that you define. You have a much greater chance of moving the prospect through the buyer journey. And once said, it can be all automated. Let's move on to number 4. Today's customer is in control of the buying journey. And it's not just us who thinks that. In today's buyer's decision journey, traditional communications aren't relevant anymore, and so we need to make changes. As for companies spending millions of dollars with marketing agencies to help create that unique offer that's going to resonate more prominently with the greatest amount of masses, that worked a long time ago when consumers were not bombarded with messages. Like I say, it worked a long time ago. Today customers are bombarded with advertising and messaging relentlessly while they're at work, home, or play, and they tune this stuff out. So using the example of the Grinch, what they hear is noise, noise, noise. So it's getting harder and it's becoming less effective to take that kind of approach in marketing. So
not only are consumers hearing so much noise these days, but They are in control, okay? So the question that, what happens when your prospects have questions? They go to Google. What happens when you have problems or challenges, or you want to learn something or get the latest baseball score? You go to Google. Why? Because Google has all the answers, right? Well, what we encourage you to ask, what I encourage you to ask yourselves is, are you creating persona-driven content that addresses your customers' questions, problems, and needs, so that when they ask Google, does your website provide an answer? Because if your website provides an answer, that's where they're going to go to learn more about what they need to solve their problems. They'll begin to trust you and ideally begin the buying process and become a customer ultimately. So the idea, the bottom line here is persona-driven content increases inbound leads and customers.
And that leads us to our fifth point. Content is king. I know you've heard that all the time. We've been talking about it years when it comes to online. But content is more than king. Persona-driven content that is reflected in your blogs, your articles, in email communications and offers. Content is not king. Content is more than king. It works on your website, compounding interest does for your bank account. So let me give you a couple examples. This is reports are from HubSpot. So this is the impact of website content on inbound leads for both B2B and B2C companies. On the y-axis is new leads created. On the x-axis is the number of web pages of content. And what we see here is two things. One is as you increase the number of pages, your leads grow exponentially. Number two, for those who think that this prospect is only for B2B, actually it is also for B2C as well. And you can see that the new leads are line up almost the same as B2B companies. On to the next slide. Impact of website content on inbound leads by company size. So what we have here is, once again, two takeaways. One is, first, again, once again, as you add more content, your leads grow exponentially. But two, for those small companies who feel like, oh, this is only something for big enterprise companies who have the resources, actually you have greater impact the smaller you are based on the number of pages you created. So that's a great insight, and I want you to think about that. All right, now to number 6. Over-the-fence marketing is for the playground. I'll explain to you what over-the-fence means. First of all, 92% of prospects are not closed, mainly because of marketing and sales misalignment. So let's talk about how leads are gathered and processed today, generally. Not every place, but generally. So you have marketing and sales that work together. They come together, they set joint goals. You know, they agree on how to work the process and hand out the baton. It should be smooth and it shouldn't be a toss. Now, marketing, let's think about marketing's objectives. Marketing's objective, among many things, is first, generate as many leads as possible using PPC, landing page campaigns, purchase lists, email and mailing, going to trade shows and scanning all the badges that come by their booth. So that market's percentage is the quantity is more important. For the sales department, what is their main objective? Their main objective is to close deals. Why? Because they're commission-based. And so when they get a lead come in for marketing, they start making phone calls. There's a good chance they're calling prospects who are still in the research stage, who are not ready to talk to a salesperson. So after a few calls, the salesperson gets frustrated and starts questioning the leads that come in from the marketing department. So when they have the board of directors meeting and the CEO says, how come sales are down? Sales says, well, we're not getting good leads from marketing. And marketing says, well, no, we're sending you leads. We're sending you more leads than you ever had before. But what we're talking about is where those leads are, where they are in the sales journey. How to make this happen? Well, marketing must take a leadership role. Working with sales, they differentiate marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads. They set up workflows based on personas and leads and manage the lead nurturing process until the prospect is ready to make a purchase decision. And that's when sales gets brought in. That's the handoff. And this is where marketing takes a leadership role in.
Last but not least, number 7. It's time to reposition marketing within the organization. What do I mean by that? Don't you get frustrated when a lot of people talk about marketing as being all about fluff? Well, our thought is it's time to change that and reposition marketing so that people can think of marketing more as the revenue driver. Why? Well, in a recent study from 600 CEOs, 73% of them said they think that marketers lack business credibility because they can't prove they generate business growth. That's huge. And that's all the more reason to reposition marketing and start thinking more in terms of revenue performance management. What kind of metrics are going to tie directly into revenue, and how do we manage that so that we can deliver metrics that really make sense and matter for the business? And just as Peggy from Mad Men said in a recent episode, if you don't like what they're saying, change the conversation. So our recommendation is shift the talk about engagement, such as with likes, tweets, click-throughs, shares, comments, page views, and such, towards more business impact conversations, such as customer acquisition cost, customer lifetime value, cost per lead, marketing influence customer percent of target revenue achieved. Now, I could do a whole webinar on this, so I'm not going to delve into it now. However, if you have more questions in the future, feel free to contact us and we can go through it. So just keep in mind, while brand awareness is important, ask yourself if that and the other metrics that you're using are tying directly to top-line growth generation, because those are the numbers that are going to resonate with CEOs and the rest of the organization.
So in recap, first of all, you just received a whole ton of great information, and so let's just recap some, our 7 main points. They are: 1, your website is more than an electronic brochure. 2, don't ask for a call or sale before the prospect is ready. 3, batch and blast email is for the past. 4, today's customer is in control of the buying journey. 5, content is more than just king. 6, over-the-fence marketing is for the playground. And 7, it's time to reposition marketing. So final word. So based on all that stuff we shared with you, and if you wonder how your website is performing, you can go to the URL list below, get a free report. We'll give you a score out of 100. We'll give you a free report of your assessment based on the topics and things we talked about in today's webinar. And so just go to that URL see before, or if you go to our homepage, there's a link there for the free website assessment. And with that, we conclude today's webinar presentation. From both Erin and I, we thank you for your time, and we hope to talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you.